I enjoy speaking about personality development, enjoy speaking about kids. Cognitive behavioral psychology is my specialty. So if you have any questions about cognitive behavioral psychology, not just limited to relational aggression, I'd be glad to have those. I'm a pretty informal speaker, like to have questions, interaction is good. I'm from Kansas, so Las Vegas, I'm from Hutchinson, which is small, just outside of Wichita, and it's kind of like being on the moon here. For example, the guy's bathroom around the corner, well, I know the guys have probably been in there, but you've seen the pictures of the girls over the urinals? There's a girl going like this, and then there's another girl with a camera, and there's another girl with these different expressions, and they're all lined up over the different urinals. Have you guys seen that? I had to take my cell phone out and take a picture of it because people in Kansas would never believe that. There's probably a session across the hall that I should attend for taking cell phone pictures in the bathroom. I think you guys have probably had enough of that today. Psychologist in Las Vegas is interesting. I love to watch people. I like to watch, there's so many people to watch. I could just sit out here all day. Interesting things to see and do. But today I'm excited to talk to you guys about evidence-based techniques to promote self-regulation and empowerment. And a lot of what I did, a lot of what you do, those of you that have been in the profession for a while, helping kids, helping people, you come to conferences like this, you're flooded with information, you're flooded with books, there's racks and racks of them out there, and they all have good things in them. But what I began to realize was, when you look through the literature, about every 10 years somebody develops something that somebody did about 50 years ago, and calls it something different, and then sells a whole bunch of books about it. That's kind of an interesting thing in our profession. Not that they aren't saying anything a little bit different, but what I'm going to tell you today is, I think sometimes it's a little bit grandiose for me to stand up here and say that I've discovered something brand new and something that's never been done before. So I see my job at these conferences to filter through that information, sift through it, and present you with something that's useful in your profession. Think about learning and patterns of behavior. What I want you to think about today is a philosophy bigger than just relating to trauma. If you have 5 minutes with an individual, what would you say to a child that's been in a traumatic situation? If you have 5 minutes, what would be important for you as a professional to communicate to that person? How could you do that? What's important? Who are the victims? Those who respond by crying or fighting are most likely to continue to be victimized. Does this sound like we're here talking about self-regulation and relational aggression? How do those things even fit together? Those who are poor at self-regulation are victims. They stand out. They're targets. They're easy targets. They're the ones that the other kids in class can say one thing and they know exactly what to say and that kid will blow up. Okay? Just push one button. If they're bored, they push the button and watch the explosion. You know, it's easy, it's simple. And then these targets continue to be targeted because they do have to blow up. Bullies are looking for some emotional reaction. Children aren't the only one. Look at celebrity drama, those guilty pleasures, those shows on TV. For some reason, this one is really hard for me. Why do we like to watch people screw up so bad? Well, we tune in, we buy the magazines off the shelf with the worst social disasters we can find. What is that? I don't have the answer to that yet. If I ever discover it, there's probably going to be some media people looking to take me out. Those children with poor emotion regulation are easy targets for bullies, and that's my point there. So that's how self-regulation ties into relational aggression. We want to help those victims, those people who become victims, not be victims any longer. And we know from research that if they continue to be poor at self-regulation, they're going to continue to be victims throughout their lives, even to adulthood. That's true. It just goes on and on. People who don't self-regulate well can't make friends, so they're lonely, they're alone. People who are alone are also easy targets. It's all connected. It's very related. And it makes perfect information I'm assuming here. Cognitive behavioral psychology has merit. Children will do well if they can. This is what I was saying earlier. I don't think children are born rotten. Dr. Ross Green, has anybody read The Explosive Child? You guys know about Dr. Green? Really good work. Never met an infant that wanted to grow up to be a horrible monster or a bad person. Except maybe this one. My wife does not like me to show that picture. She works nights, and the kids and I get really bored during the day when she's asleep, so we have to come up with something to entertain ourselves. I'll get that off of there. We are talking about trauma. If anybody feels traumatized by that, you can stay after, and I'll try to help. I have to get that image up. Cognitive behavioral interventions. Excellent theoretical background, excellent efficacy research. I just put some things in here for you if you don't believe me. Easy to implement. It's not hard. That's the thing about it I love about this. You do it every day. You do it with your friends, you do it with your family. It comes natural to a lot of us. It's easy to implement. Works well with teams. Face validity is good because you can explain it easily. It makes sense logically. You can follow it through step by step. And people cognitive behavioral therapy a first-line intervention because of the change process. Here's something very important. This is one of those nuggets that I want you to kind of pay attention to. Belief that one can change is the first step. If this step isn't taken, how can we move forward? If you have somebody in your office, somebody that you're working with that's a victim, believes they have no control over anything, you could take any one of those books out there and try an intervention out of there. What motivates them to do anything or listen to anything that you said about making change? Because what's going through their mind is nothing I do matters. Okay? And you're trying to say, oh yes it does. Well, who are you? Oh, I'm the counselor, I'm the professional that's here to help you. But I've heard for the last 12 years that I don't amount to anything. Okay. I don't think you're going to beat that in 5 minutes. How are you going to do that? We'll get to that in a minute. If they don't believe that they can impact or change anything, why would they move? I wouldn't. Okay, that's very important. That's huge. It deals with, these are really good words. If you're going to search anything on the internet, these are good things. Competence, self-efficacy. Albert Bandura did some great work on this stuff. Self-esteem, powerless position. Martin Seligman, learned helplessness. Does anybody know about that? You know, if you're in a powerless position, people come into my office all the time in a powerless position and want me to fix it. That shows how powerless they feel. Here's all my stuff. You give it back to me when it's done. Okay. It's true. And that to me is a big red flag. You know, they're that helpless to not want to take any steps. We've got a lot of work to do. So once you have to teach that. You have to teach that skill first. You have to get through that wall first, over that hurdle first. That's what I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about. Your perception is your reality. I'm not telling you anything new here, but we forget how important that is. Okay? How you perceive things. That's all that really matters. I'm not going to go around and make everyone treat you nicely. I'm not going to make everything happen well for you in your life. Right? It's how you perceive those things. It's how you handle those bumps.